What's going on, everyone? Danny Vega here, also known as Danny V, and welcome back to the Danny Vega Show. I just saw Scream 5, and let me tell you something. Man, this movie is so good, except for the ending. If you don't want anything spoiled, you already know what to do. So here we go. You got 3 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, don't forget about our 1K giveaway. I'm on the quest to 1,000 subscribers, and once that happens, one lucky winner will be able to win a free giveaway. And that could be any of you. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell button for more notifications, and send it to all your family and friends. Man, Scream 5, like I said, this movie is incredible. These directors, man, did a fantastic job. It felt definitely like a Wes Craven movie. This movie was totally dedicated to him, and they even put for Wes at the end. And not only that, you had little Easter eggs, like one of the characters' name was Wes. Yeah, this movie felt definitely just like part 1, with the cat and mouse games, and honestly, Roger Jackson's voice as Ghostface. Mwah, bring him back. And what's your favorite scary movie? Or you want to play a game? It was good. It was great. The fact that they did that just like the original, as soon as that first scene happened, it was just like that. I was like, I'm all in. And like all other Scream movies, this movie was super meta. However, it works. Why? Because Scream 1 was super meta. They've played upon it being a requel. A requel is not a reboot and it's not a sequel. It's almost like a soft reboot, and they explain all of that in the actual movie, which is fantastic because everything feels like part 1, and the characters are all like the other characters from part 1. You have Randy's niece and nephew who act entirely like him, especially his niece. You have Jack Quaid and Mikey Madison. Their characters are just like how Billy and Stu's was. Everything was very reminiscent from the original film. However, the thing that I loved the most is that there were certain elements that were different, and there were definitely a lot of homages to other horror films. Like they had the exact shot of Halloween in there with the house, which I thought was fantastic. They had Psycho's shower scene. The shower scene was identical shot to shot. So yeah, it was a lot of great things in it that made the requel. And then on top of that, they were talking about toxic fandom. And I get it, because you know me, I am like, hey, if the originals are incredible, leave them alone. Don't reboot them, none of that. They were saying how when fandom like myself, the love for it goes to an extreme. I get that whole thing. However, when you get the reveal of the killers at the end, it was kind of blah to me, because even though we're on the subject of a requel, it shouldn't have felt identical to the first one. And what I mean is that this entire movie had so much potential because it was doing different things. There were different setups, and it just felt like the evolution of Ghostface of just modern times. And you're like, dude, that is crazy. And the kills were brutal. It was awesome. Even though it wasn't too gory, it was still incredible, and stuff that we haven't seen before. So when you get to the killers revealing themselves and their characters are very Stu and Billy, you're like, why? Because this movie was so unpredictable that when you go with the predictable, then all of a sudden now whenever you try to continue the series, everything is going to be predictable. No matter how much you try to spin it or twist it, people are like, oh yeah, I can see that coming. Rather than if you did what the original did, was the unpredictable at the end, people are gonna be like, oh shit, what's gonna happen if they do continue the series? Because now you turned everyone on their heads. And that's what number 1 did. When Billy showed that he was the killer, even though Wes Craven left you all the clues that it was Billy, but when he got stabbed and you're like, shit, Ghostface just killed Billy, it's not him. Come to find out it is him, and then there's a second killer, you're like, what? And the number 1 thing they said in the movie, in the original, was movies don't create psychos, movies make psychos more creative. And that's the deal. The ending wasn't creative. And then on top of that, to throw a meta joke in there going, oh, we know it's disappointing, but it's what's best for the movie. It's not. It really isn't. What would have been best for the movie and the entire franchise is if you would have flipped it, if you would have just turned it on its head for everybody else. So one of the main characters, Sam, is the daughter of Billy, and in this entire movie, movie she was taking medication and she had glimpses of Billy talking to her, I would have loved if they would have took the approach that like you think you're the good guy, but realistically you're the bad guy at the same time. I would have loved that approach, and that would have flipped everybody on its heads, because even if you had these two killers reveal themselves at the end and it was part of her plan the whole time and she just kills everyone off, that would be amazing, because now you're like, shit. But now, because you didn't do it in the first film, now all of a sudden it's predictable in the end that she's gonna be either a killer or not. It's definitely predictable. It shows like, hey, this is where we're leading, but we're not gonna do it in the first film. Which, if you did it in the first film, then you have no idea what's gonna happen in the other films, because if you kill her off right then and there in part one, oh shit, who's gonna be the next person? Or what's gonna happen next? Like I said, there should have been some twist. Now, if she does become the killer, it's predictable. If any of her friends that survive become the killer, predictable. Anyone related to her, predictable. All of this is predictable now. If Stu is not dead and comes back, predictable now. There's so many Easter eggs that make the future movies predictable that you need to come up with a better story and something surprising to make us fans go, oh shit, we never thought of that. The entire cast and crew was great. David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, they're in it, but they're not in it like a lot of it. They're just in it for a little bit, and which is funny because they even say it in the rules of the new requels that you have to have some of the old characters in the new one to pass on the torch. However, I just felt like they Force Awakened it, which they mentioned the Force Awakens in the movie. I'm just saying, you have to see it without me spoiling too much, because I really don't want to spoil too much for you guys. You just have to see it. Is this worth watching? Absolutely. I think it's incredible. I think it's awesome, except for the ending. Like I said, felt that the creativity was good. For me, honestly, out of all the Scream films, this is my number 2 favorite. Number 1 was definitely the first one. Anyway, those are my thoughts. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell button for more future videos. And don't forget to share with all your family and friends, because once I hit 1K, I will pick one lucky subscriber to win a free giveaway. And that could be you. So make sure that you go ahead and tell everyone to subscribe. I love you. Be safe, and I will talk to you next time. Peace.